I was watching an interview by someone that I really respect and admire. It's, Elon Musk, who visionary, genius, risk taker, world changer, lots of respect. And and so he's doing this interview, and then he said something that sounded just kind of dumb, and so that's what I wanted to address here. So he's being interviewed about his diet and the value of eating this or that way, and he makes a statement saying, "I would rather just eat what I want and live a shorter life because I enjoy food." Now, from the surface, that sounds like a reasonable choice that someone is entitled to make. If I want to eat super healthy, then I'll live longer. That's my choice, and I value that. And if I want to just as I don't know, some famous poet said, just suck the marrow out of life, uh, you know, then you can live more intensely, but it's shorter. And I think it was Bukowski said, find what you love and let it kill you. And there's a very seductive, romantic quality to that concept. But here's why it's ridiculous. It's because in the most kind of, well, not the most aggressive, but let's say the a more obvious way to understand this would be like to say this: you're on a boat, and the sea is just crazy, and you get severe motion sickness, and you're so nauseous, and someone puts some broccoli and someone puts the finest filet mignon steak in front of you. How much are you going to be able to enjoy either of those? Not very much. It doesn't matter what you eat if you don't feel good. And this is the flaw in that idea, is that when you don't eat healthy, your default ability to perceive and experience joy and pleasure is reduced. Um, Speaking of, that's my girlfriend texting me. Um, so so that's the flaw, is that you might say to yourself, "Oh, I really just want these French fries and this milkshake, even though I know the salad would be better, but I want to just enjoy myself." Every time you indulge in food that's not good for you, it reduces your ability to enjoy that food. And this isn't psychological, it's a physiological, biological thing that's happening. It Having too much processed sugar reduces your available serotonin. There's just there's just so many. There are psychological effects from having a poor diet, but just even the way that your body interacts with the flavors. Like if you have a lot of processed meat, there's a lot of salt in that, and it numbs the tongue. It might make in that moment the flavor pop a little bit more, but you have to over time add more and more salt as you adjust to it. So so the idea that you want to enjoy your food, and so you're going to make that compromise with your life being shortened, it's actually a lose-lose. You will enjoy the food less as time goes on, as well as shorten your life. Now, another thing that's really important to consider here is that the palate is very dynamic. You know, I myself, through my younger years in college and in my 20s, I'd have McDonald's and Coke and all that shit. And, I might have a burger every now and then. But as I eat differently, my appreciation and sensitivity to flavors changes. So the idea that I'm losing out on the experience of eating is not true either. It's just that my sensitivity to sweetness changes, so I can detect and enjoy more subtle sweets, and more complex flavors in things that normally people would think are bland. And you probably find this from anybody that eats a lot of vegetables. You eat more, and you know, like radishes. Well, depends if they're spicy, but like broccoli or cauliflower or even celery. I love the taste of celery. I don't know why. It and it didn't always it wasn't always that way. So the palate changes, and then in the other direction, think about like certain bitters. Like coffee or beer, or the palate when people age and becomes numb can tolerate more pungent, bitter flavors. You can't give certain things to children because their tongues are too sharp. They can't handle it. But it's through the numbing and the degradation of the sense organ that allows us to tolerate and pretend like we're appreciating it or developing something, but we're really not. It's just part of that delusion of indulgence. So yeah, I think, and to be fair, I'll have an Oreo here and there too, and whatever, be reasonable with your life, but the idea that you will compromise life for eating whatever you want, you have to consider that a lot of food that we take as an indulgence diminishes our ability to experience food in general, and of course the hormonal and psychological disruptions that go on as fallout to having a poor diet. Um, yeah. So I'm curious about other people's opinion on the topic. Let me know. Comments below. Thanks.